Hello everyone. So this will be a demo regarding HTML and its interaction with JavaScript. I will start completely from scratch. So I have an HTML file. It's called js.html, and in the same folder I have two images, one.jpg and two.jpg. The file which is js.html is empty. It has really nothing in it, and this is the head. It has a title JS demo. There's a link to a CSS file that does not exist. We will create it now. And this is the JS file, so it's really empty. What we will do, we will start first by adding something to the body of the image. I want to create an h1, which is the h1 tag. I will leave it empty. I will give it an ID. Let's say I will say greeting, and this is just what the greeting is. It's empty. So now even if I refresh, I didn't include anything in it. I want to create a JS file and fill this h1 with something. It's always good to have the JavaScript file be imported in the end of the body. So similar to what we did before, so script, and you close the script, but instead of writing the code inside the script, so instead of writing the code here, no, I don't want to write it here. I will do the following. So I will say, yes, I have a script, and I will say the source of the script is equal to, and I'll put the script file. So let's say it's called JS script.js. It doesn't exist yet, so I need really to create it. I will create a JavaScript file in the same folder. So this is the JavaScript file. And what do I want to write in it? I want just to write in it, get me the h1 tag using its ID and insert something inside it, like here. Insert something here. Okay, so I will come here. I will say document dot get the element by its ID. What's the ID? It is called greeting dot inner HTML is equal, for example, be safe, and then I stop. So what this will do, I will go to the HTML tag that has the ID greeting. In this case, it is the h1 tag. I will go inner HTML, writes inside it, and writes in it the following string, which is be safe. So now if I refresh, I have be safe on top. Anytime you want to include something in the HTML file, you can do something similar to that. It is not really necessarily that here it should be an h1. I can put it as a p. So I have a paragraph. It has the following ID. It is called the greeting, and then I'll do this. And now still be safe is there. Of course, I can add a CSS file to update this p or to update anything that I want in the HTML file. So I will create now a file to put some styles in it, and let's save it in the same place, mystyle.css, and in it I have an ID for the paragraph. It's called greeting. So I will say I want to make greeting, give it any font size. Let's say it's 30 pixels. Okay, so I can go back, and now it is be safe. I can make it bold, italic. I can add any of the styles that I did before. Now next, what I want to do, okay, this is just to illustrate that when the JavaScript loads, it runs anything that is in the JavaScript, which is not triggered by a certain activity. Now I will add some triggers. For example, I'll add a button to style a certain paragraph. Um, so I will add something here. I will get any paragraph. What I did in class was go to aub.edu.lb and get really any article. So let it load. Okay, so let's get the same announcement. So this is a new one. Okay, so I'll go to the file. I will add it in a paragraph. So this is the text that I just copied. I'll give the paragraph a certain ID because I want to style it now, and I will call it PAR. Now in the style file, I will style PAR, and this is again similar to what I did in class. I'll give it a border 2px solid black, and I'll give it a certain width. Let's say it is 50%. So now this is what I have. I will add a button under it. So in this case, I will add a button here. So there is a button. I will close it. I will say change to red. And now if I refresh the HTML, I have changed to red here. But it is inactive. You see, I'm clicking on it, it's inactive. In order to add action to it, I will say, okay, so when I click on this button, so this is the action which is on click action, I want to run a JavaScript function. Name it whatever you want. I will name it change to red. Don't forget the brackets, a semicolon. So this means that once I click on the button which is called change to red, the following JavaScript function will run. What I want this JavaScript function to do, I want it to change the text inside this paragraph. Inside this paragraph here, I want to change it to red. So let's go to the JavaScript file, and now I want to add the keyword function, the name of the JavaScript file. Don't forget the brackets. Open the curly braces, close them. Since I want to change the paragraph, I need to get that paragraph. So similar to what I did before, document.getElement by ID. The ID of the paragraph is PAR. Dot, I want to change the style of the paragraph. What exactly in the style? I want to change the color, and I want to make it red. Semicolon, save. And now when someone clicks on that button, change to red, the following function will run, and it will change the paragraph which has ID PAR, which is this one, it will change it to red. So refresh, change to red, this becomes red. Uh, let's assume that anytime I hover the mouse over this, I want the color to change back to black. So here also, but now the trigger is related to the paragraph, not to the button anymore. Because when I hover the mouse over the paragraph, which is this one, I want something to happen. So in this case, what I want to do, I want to say on mouse over. I will run a JavaScript function. Let's call it change to black, because I want to change the color to black. And now I go and implement this JavaScript function, which when I hover the mouse over this paragraph, which is over this one here, it will change the text to black. So I'll go to JavaScript. Again, it's the keyword is function, change to black, and again, document dot get element by ID. It is the paragraph which I'm changing, dot style dot color, similar to the other one, is equal to black. Okay, sorry, don't forget to add the quotations. Okay, so refresh. Now change to red, it is red. I hover over it, it's a black. I go out, nothing happens because I already changed it to black. Change to red, red. Hover the mouse over it, it becomes black. So this is the first part. Now I would like to add, play around with images. I will continue after here, so it's before the JavaScript file. I will include the image, which is, I'll add the source. I have two images. One is called 1.jpg, and the other is 2.jpg. Okay, and I put a width and height. So let's say the width is 400 pixels and the height is also 400 pixels. Let's look at the image. So this is the image. Since the button is inline and the image is inline, they appear next to each other. I can fix that by putting a break, a BR, before the image. So this should solve this issue. I can put two BRs in order to make it look better. And under the image, I want to add another button. And inside it, I want to say change. I always have a problem with change. So change image. So now I go back, refresh. I have this change image. It's not clickable because I did not link any JavaScript function to it. So change image. Again, I can make this BR in order to jump a line, or I can make the button a block, or I can make the image a block. It's up to me really. So here, also on click, I want to run a JavaScript function. Let's call it change image, the brackets, semicolon, and let's go and implement this change image in JavaScript. So this is the JavaScript file. Now I will add another function. It's called change image. And what do I want to do? So before I continue, I want to get to this image tag and change its source. So going back to HTML, I want to go to this image tag and change its source. But I didn't give it an ID. So I better give it an ID. And I'll call it IM. So this is the ID of this image. Go back to JavaScript, document.getElement by ID. I'm getting the image which has the ID IM. I want to change the source directly, the source attribute, and I want to change it to 2.jpg, semicolon. Now I refresh, change image, this changed. Of course, if I click on it again, it's already changed to 2. So even running this function again will just replace the source with 2.jpg, so nothing really changes. This remains active, and this is the second part. I will add another button next to it, next to the change image, and I will say it is called copy paste change back. So I will change it back, change image back. So I want to change it back. So when someone clicks on change back, I want to run a function called change image back. I go to the JavaScript. This function is extremely similar to this one. It is called change image back. It gets the same image. It changes its source, but now it changes its source back to 1.jpg. So when I click refresh, change image, this is the bear, change back, it changes back. Okay. Now, the last part, I'll add another button to simulate a calculator, and I'll add it maybe on a new line. So I'll put a break and then another break, and I add a button, and this button, again, it's simulating a calculator. And on click, I want to run a function. Let's say the function is called calc, and this function it will simulate a calculator. So it will ask a user to enter first number, second number, a certain operator, and it does the complete operation. So let's look at this now. So I have the calculator, but it is inactive. So I'll go to JavaScript and I'll create a function. It's called calc. And what's in it? First, I want to create a variable n1 that asks the user prompt enter n1. And then I close. And then I want something very similar to it for n2. So variable n2, I'll ask the user to enter n2. But first, let's add the operator. So var op, it's equal to prompt enter. Oops, I'll go back. So it's the string enter operator. Semicolon. So I enter all these three. All of these are strings. So n1 is a string, not the number. And OP is a string and N2 is a string. So let's see it as of now before we continue. Calculator, enter N1, let's say 88. Enter the operator, let's assume times. Enter N2, 8. Nothing happens because I didn't do anything yet. But all of these entered are strings. So I want the, let me call it string result. So variable string, or actually let me call it equation. Equation. The equation, it is nothing but n1 concatenated with the operator concatenated with n2. So now equation is the string composed, let's say it will be 88 times 2. And the result, which is the numeric result, it's equal to eval of that equation. So eval, it takes inside a string. So as if here, this equation, it is the value of n1, which is 88, times 2 as a string. So eval here, as if I have something like this. I have eval 88 times 2 as a string. So this is internally, this is how it looks like. Eval 88 times 2. This is what the equation is. The equation is 88 times 2. Eval will take the what's inside as an arithmetic expression and gives it a value. So as of now, result has the value of the arithmetic operator. I need to add it to the screen. I can add it as an alert or I can add it as an inner HTML. Let's add it as an inner HTML. So I'll go back to H1. After the button, I'll create here an H1 or an H2, whatever you want really. So an H2, I'll give it an ID. I will call it res, and this is a JavaScript function that will run. And I can go now to the JavaScript and I say get the document dot get element by ID res to get the h2 tag dot inner HTML, and this will be equal to what? So what do I want to view for the user? I want to view the equation. I want to view the equation. I want to concatenate it with the equal sign, and I want to concatenate it with the result, which is the numeric value that I got. So now let us test. So calculator, I have 88, then times, then 2 equal, and this didn't show. Let's see why. Is there something that I didn't save? So we have, oh, so here's the problem. So the ID, I put it as a JavaScript function. So this is wrong. The ID is res. Go back to JavaScript. So now things should work fine. So 88, enter, times 2. And this is the answer. 88 times 2 equal 176. So I hope this was very helpful to you. I have something similar to this, not exactly the same, uploaded to Moodle, but hopefully this is a recap of how things are linked together and how can you call JavaScript functions from HTML and write on HTML as well. Take care.